Personal development, getting better, becoming smarter, becoming a better person. A lot of people want to do these things. A lot of people are actually serious about doing these things, but they don't know what activities to actually embark on or start doing to improve in this area of their life. So, what do we do, and what are the best activities to improve our sense of personal development and growth? Don't worry, we're going to answer that question right now. Oh, what's going on, guys? Danilo Caprick here, aka the best dressed man in tech sales. Don't forget it, and one of the co-founders of the B2B Syndicate. And now I'm really excited, guys, for today's video, because what we're going to talk about is what is the number one activity that you can start working on today to, again, kickstart and accelerate your sense of professional and personal growth. So without further ado, let's get into it so you can get these insights. All right, guys, so you're probably a little bit puzzled by the stack of books next to me. And maybe some of you know what these are, but maybe some of you don't. So let's get into it, guys. What is the number one activity that you can do to kickstart and accelerate your sense of personal and professional development? It is, if you haven't guessed it already, the art and the science of journaling, okay? Journaling. If you are surprised by this answer, let me explain why journaling is such a powerful activity and why I have been doing it since 2015 and why I now have over 21 journals. Some are missing from this stack. They're at my place in Miami, so don't worry. But now, again, let me explain why this is such a powerful activity that you need to start doing if you haven't already. So the first thing, guys, when it comes to the benefits of journaling is, number one, the memories. Like, there are very few things in life that can give you pleasure and joy, such as good times from the past, okay? And when you've documented these good times, and when you even take it a step further like me, and you put pictures inside of your journals, oh, it's so nice, it's so cool. Like, this is a journal I took with me to Europe, and I'm looking now at photos that I took in France. This one was in Amsterdam, random strangers that I met at a hostel, and I got photos of them, and I can read what I wrote about each person, how I met them, how they were, all of that. Being able to tap in at any moment to relive these experiences is something I will never, I can't replicate that. And it's something I'll always cherish, because guess what? As we age, we forget about these things. Maybe we're young now, and this trip I took in 2018, that's the other thing, I can remember exactly when these things took place. But this trip that took place in 2018, I can't recall it exactly, right, like it was. But guess what? If I have it journaled, and especially if I got photos, I know exactly what happened, and I'll never lose track of it. The second benefit when it comes to memories is, let's be real, guys, at some point all of us are going to die, okay? All of us are going to not be a part of this world at some point in the future. For example, my father passed away in 2012, and I wish he had some journals. That would be so cool if I could go into his journals and see what his life was like, what his past was like, what experiences he had, right, that I could then learn from. And I already know my kids, when I'm not there anymore, they're gonna have a rich box. It might be I don't know, I might bury these in the ground somewhere, whatever it is, but they're going to have a rich collection of stories from their father to tap into at any moment. And that is worth, you can't even put a price on that, guys. So that's the second thing, is you will always have something to pass on to your future legacy and to your children, should you choose to have them. And there's no gift that you could ever purchase that could be as sweet and as, there's not even words to describe it, but as valuable as your past memories and experiences all bundled up into a nice little journal. All right, so enough with the sentimental stuff. Let's get into some of the more growth-related benefits as to why it's nice and important to have a journal, and more importantly, how it aligns to kickstarting and accelerating your sense of personal development. All right, guys, to articulate this point, I'm gonna open up my journal number 1, okay? Volume 1 right here. This is from 2015. I was age 22. And on the first page, I highlighted it because this is such a powerful page for me. In this page, I wrote down that I would make 100K. I wrote down that I would go to travel and see my family in Eastern Europe. I wrote down that I'd give my mom a house one day. Guess what, y'all? It's 2023. That was 8 years ago. I just came back from 30 days in Eastern Europe hanging out with my family, okay? In the last 2 years, I've been 4 times to go see my family in Eastern Europe. This house that I'm in right now, this is my mom's new house, okay? We got this 2 years ago, and I furnished the whole thing thanks to this job in tech sales. What was the other thing? Making 100K. I was able to do that after 3 years after writing this page, okay? So the thing is, whether you're aware of this or not, when you write down your goals, it does something to your subconscious, and it plants a seed that communicates to your subconscious, hey, this is important. We need to make this outcome happen ASAP. So when you write things down, and especially if you continue to write them down, it's almost like giving your subconscious mind a GPS to guide it as to what's important. And whether you believe it or not, unconsciously, you are going to be walking always towards the things that you write about and that you think about. And if you've ever heard somebody say the phrase, you are what you think about, it's true. And if you want to take it to the next level, write it out and you will walk to it even faster. All right, guys, the next reason why journaling is so powerful for your own personal sense of personal development and growth is because you get to see your own maturity, right? I'm looking at a page right now. This is from October 29th, 2020, 10:22 in the morning, and I'm talking about how mad I was because I spilled a little bit of coffee on my laptop and it caused my laptop to crap out and I had to work off my cell phone for the next 2 days. And being able to look back at little things like that allowed me to realize that, well, how far along I've come when it comes to emotional mastery. And you can see some of the things, that was just one example, but you can see some of the things in the past that might have pissed you off, some of the things that would have gotten under your skin. And you can see how funny sometimes those things were. In the moment, they were really upsetting to you. In the moment, you wrote about it, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I'm pissed off about this. I'm mad about that. But then when you look at it years later, you're like, man, it's really not that bad. And you get to laugh at it. And there's a sense of peace that comes with being able to see the growth in your emotional maturity. And so that's the next reason why journaling is such a powerful exercise that you must at least experiment with, because it's a great way to monitor your own sense of maturity, whether it's emotional or otherwise. So the last and most important reason why journaling is so important and why it's such a good activity for your personal sense of growth is because of what you can learn from looking back in the past. Have you ever heard people say, if you read a good book, you should read it again, maybe at a later time, because you're going to see it in a different way? The same goes for your journals. When you can look back at a journal from years ago, right? You're going to look at certain things you wrote and you're going to take it in a different light. You're going to see it differently. You're going to experience those words differently. And when you're able to do that again and again, look back at what things used to upset you, things you used to write about even, you're going to be like, wow, look at what I used to care about. Look at what my priorities were. Look at the type of person I used to be. And again, you get to really witness your own growth. And there's really nothing that's more empowering than that. And here's the other thing. There's no other source of information. There's no other data. There's no website that you can go to get this kind of material, because it came from you. It came out of you. It was only in you. And it was only in you and a part of you for a certain time in your life. And if you don't capture it then, it vanishes. So by journaling, you are getting access to the rarest information at the only time that it exists, right? Think about every single age you go through, every year of your life, you become a certain person, a certain version of yourself. And that version should be always changing, right? If we're evolving and growing as people. And again, as the years pass on, certain parts of you die off. You change habits, you change expectations, you change your beliefs. And again, if you don't write this stuff down, you're not going to be able to learn from it because it just changes over time. And unless you document that, you'll never have the opportunity to look back at it again. So for that reason, guys, journaling is such a powerful activity. And it's also, we should say, a activity that expires or gets less valuable with time. So the earlier that you can start doing this, right, because you change more frequently earlier in your life, the better you're going to, or the more value you're going to get from this, right? Because again, when we're young, we're evolving at a more rapid rate. Once we get older, let's say in our 30s and 40s, we're going to be less drastic in terms of changes that we make to our personality, way of thinking, and our belief system. So that is the final reason I want to emphasize on why journaling is such an important activity when it comes to your sense of personal growth. All right, guys, well, there you have it. That is why journaling is such an important activity and why it's so vital and why it's so good and so healthy for the mind, for the soul, for your personal growth, all right? So if you're not into journaling, maybe you find another thing that works for you. Maybe you find another way to document your thoughts. Maybe it can be through art. Maybe it can be through singing, through poems, right? I used to do a lot of spoken word poetry. That was another form of journaling for me because I would always make lyrics about kind of what I was going through at the time. So maybe if it's not journaling, find what it is for you that allows you to document who you are, your thoughts, your beliefs, your struggles, your challenges, your goals, and be able to reflect on them at a later time in life. I think that's the more important thing. Whether it's journaling or take some other form, find an activity that allows you to document who you are, your thoughts, beliefs, goals, challenges in a way that you can understand and then reflect on later on in life. That said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video for today. If you did, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you're not doing so already, go follow me on LinkedIn. And last but not least, if you are interested in breaking into tech sales, or maybe you're already in sales and you want to become smarter, sharper, better at your craft, go ahead and hit the link in the description to sign up for our free weekly newsletter where you will get one actionable sales insight delivered straight to your inbox at no cost. All right, guys. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy now.